Have you ever asked yourself, how do I deal with a web designer? Well, if you have and you know some tips, share them with your friends. But until then, you can listen to my 10 tips on how to deal with a web designer. Number 1. Choose your web designer wisely. Remember, web designers vary over a spectrum of the professionals to the hobbyists, and you really need to find your median. You need to find a designer who can help you do the job properly with the least expected amount. And third, you need to have realistic expectations in mind. So have realistic budget, and don't think that you're going to be paying less, because you might have to pay quite a bit. Number 2, educate yourself about the web. Remember, there are a lot of keywords and jargon out there, and you need to know what that jargon is before you start talking to a web designer. Also, you can go online and Google your competitors and try to find out how their website looks like. Come up with some ideas, get inspired, don't copy, get inspired, and then try to address these features that you like from your competitor. Tell it to your designers and cross your fingers that he'll be able to know how to do it. And then browse the latest trends. This is helpful because sometimes you've got these flashy, nice animations that if you can have them on your website, well, I guarantee your website will be cool. Number 3, have your designs ready. If you think that you're going to be an integral part of your website design process, then if you have some designs, make sure you get them approved by your boss, for example, and also create some wireframes and sketches, anything that can help the designer see what's in your brain, because he can't see what's in your brain unless you visually draw it on paper or in digital format, whatever suits you. Also, if you have some structure and some navigation in mind, because your website is not just few pages, if it's like 15 pages, then you might want to also draw up the navigation and the structure of your homepage so that it can make sense. Also, try to get approval on all the designs and the structure and the navigation from your boss. Now, number 4, aside from the design part and the graphics and all the flashy stuff, there's the main thing, content. So make sure that you have your content ready, get approval on your content, provide it in digital format, because your web designer is most likely not going to be typing it for you. Better get somebody in your office to type it and get it ready in Word or text format, whatever suits you. And you should be good to go. And then finally, if you're planning to use images, and well, guess what? You have to. Then make sure you decide on how you're going to get the images. You definitely don't want to steal them from somebody else's website. And make sure to know, just in case you don't know, most of the photos on the internet are actually copyright protected. So there's a small portion of these pictures that are, or that fall under the free or the royalty-free photos, and that's where you probably want to go if you don't have a budget for it. If you're a good company, a medium-sized company to a large company, then definitely you want to hire a photographer or possibly pay for some photos. There are tons of websites that are available where you can choose a photo, pay for it 30, 50, $100, and use it over and over, or again, depending on the license agreement, you can use it once or twice. Now, number 5, this is specific for people who come from a print background, and those people generally like to design a website that looks like a brochure. That's totally wrong. I can't stress enough. Website that looks like a brochure cannot really tap into the latest technologies. Generally, it's just slow and it's not responsive, so it doesn't lay out itself depending on the device that it's rendering on, and most of the time it's just slow, and you need to design as per web standards. Now, number 6, communication is very important when you have to deal with a web designer. So communication is key. Make sure that you document all your requirements on a piece of paper or a digital format, and make sure that it's there so that when you meet your designer or developer, you can talk clearly and discuss what features or what ideas you have in mind. Make sure you have them documented, and also talk about options when you're with your designer, because sometimes you have options or your designer can come up with options for you. See whatever suits you. Number 7, that's important, don't micromanage the web project. There are a lot of people who just like to micromanage in general. That generally leads to failure. Try to let the web designer be the web designer. Let them come up with the ideas and try to implement them. Just guide them through, but don't micromanage. And remember that web designers are not an extension of your brain. If you have ideas and you think that you want to be a web designer, go and take a web design course. Don't try to interfere with the web designer. I don't mean to sound harsh, but let the designer do their job. Now, number 8, provide continuous feedback. Designers, developers, mostly everybody, like to get feedback. And you might want to start giving feedback right from the beginning, in the middle, and towards the end. And that is very healthy because it keeps your designer in the loop of what you're thinking, and it sets the expectations straight right from the beginning. And also, be involved in every step of the project. Don't just delay it until the end and get the shock of your life. Number 9, that's very important too, be realistic in your expectations. Remember, expect reasonable working hours from your designer. He's not your slave. He's not going to be working for you 24/7. Think from that perspective, and also agree on a realistic plan or a project plan with certain milestones so that you and your designer will try to achieve them step by step. And finally, that's important too, negotiate costs and deadlines fairly. Number 10, that's the big one to me, contract. See if you have a contract, and if you don't, make sure that your web designer has a contract ready for you. That's the bond between the two of you, and that will set things in the right direction. So, your contract should include 4 things. Change requests, meaning what will happen in case you request too many changes. Also, what are the licensing rules, meaning who owns the code. In my opinion, the web designer will not agree to give you the code, but you might as well ask because some of them might do. And then upgrade options. If you want something extra than what you've agreed on, make sure to see what's possible and what's not. And finally, maintenance options. What happens tomorrow if your site breaks, somebody hacks it, or you need to upgrade WordPress, for example, to the latest version? Make sure that your web designer will be there to support and help you. I hope that these 10 tips will help you in your next move when you want to give a call to a web designer and start discussing your next website project. And if you want a good web designer, well, guess what? I am a web designer. You can contact me by going directly to my website, and I'll have the link below. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have more tips that you can share with people on YouTube right here or on Jeak website, make sure that you add them to the comments below, and I will be grateful. Have a great day. Bye-bye.